Greetings. My name is Keith Blackmore. I'm one of the producers for Vancouver Spark Animation Festival. Konstantin Bronzit is the key person and really the anchor of today's Russian animation scene. He has been twice nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Film, and he's the winner of numerous awards at international festivals. Bronzit has displayed incredible strength as well as a commitment to the profession of animation for many, many years, in spite of the fact it can be very difficult being an animator in today's Russian film industry. Yet, despite this sense of skepticism over the years, he has nevertheless not lost faith in the power of human relationships, which are indispensable for professional survival. And the irony is that it characterizes his attitude toward his animation and allows us to look at his films as these beautiful, humorous, and poignant shorts. And also they are a narrative of life, not just for him, but for the universe as well. So it's our great pleasure to be able to have with us today Konstantin Bronzit. Welcome, Konstantin.
Namaste. Thank you very much.
How did you first get started in the field of animation? What was it that drew you to this medium of storytelling?
Very simple story. As I say every time, I was born with a pencil in my hand. That means I started drawing everything from the very beginning. As I remember myself, I was drawing. First of all, I was dreaming to be painter, classical painter. But then very quickly, I moved to little sketches in storytelling, comics, and I was crazy about it. There was a moment, I was 8 years old, as I remember, 7, 8 years. Some of my friends, one guy showed me very famous trick with flip book, when in every page you can draw something and it's movement, and from that moment when he showed me this trick, the world lost me, because I was absolutely inside of this. I drew a lot of flip books, a lot of stories, short stories in every page. I was crazy about it. My parents were a bit disturbed with this problem, but finally they gave me, put me in art school. That was very good for me for the time. I have very good education in drawing, classical, but when I was teaching, when I was learning, sorry for my English, when I was learning drawings, classical art, I still dreamed about animation. And finally, I decided that that's my way. By the way, my film, to this day, last one, He Can't Live Without Cosmos, it's about myself. It's about destiny. I mean, I didn't choose my profession. Somebody above chose me. He said, Konstantin, you will be an animator. Me? Why me? My God. No, you will be an animator. That's all. That's my destiny.
When you brought up We Can't Live Without Cosmos, and that it really explores the deep friendship between two astronauts, and you mentioned it's the inspiration is really your story. Where does the other astronaut come in from that story for you?
Валя, переведи.
Кажется, Кит немного перепутал фильмы. Он ссылается на «Мы не можем жить без космоса» и говорит, если это ваша личная история, откуда взялся второй астронавт и кто он вообще такой?
Yeah, Kit, it's two different films. We Can't Live Without Cosmos and He Can't Live Without Cosmos. Two different films, different stories. It's like diptych, animation diptych. Nobody did it before. Animation diptych. 15 minutes first film, 15 minutes another film, but totally different. Audience can watch every film separately, absolutely, because there is no connection, but only one bridge between them. No, two bridges between them, just because they're about astronauts, both of them. Here, friendship between two astronauts. Here, not just story of one astronaut and his mother. And of course, the title. It's play, it's game with the title. We can't live without causes. He can't live without causes. Different films. Did you see it? The second one?
Oh yes, yeah, I loved it. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, about Destiny is my second one. It's self-portrait, so to say. The friendship is the theme of the first film. And what was the question?
Well,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Could you please repeat your question?
So you mentioned that the inspiration was your story.
The first one.
Yeah. So which of the astronauts is you?
No. There is no me in that film. No, it's not me. It's not about me. It's just abstract story, of course. But it's interesting it's interesting the way how it came to me. I was sleeping. I exactly remember that day what happened. I was sleeping. It was 5 minutes just before my waking up, and one image, which is exactly in the story, dreamed to me. It's image of two astronauts, just two men, lying on one bed and drifting in space. That's image. This image is inside of that film, yeah, exactly in center of the film. It was just image. I wake up and just starting thinking about what it was. For many people, for every people, a lot of stuff, stupid stuff, can dream, yeah. A lot of came in dream, yeah. A lot of stuff. But that day, I start thinking what it was, and in 5 minutes of thinking about it, I realized that I have story. So to say, I developed it to the very beginning. I realized who it is and what they do in this space. Who is these two guys? And I developed roll up, so to say, to the very end. Generally speaking, I had story. It was born from the dream, from one picture. Oh. And I came up, yeah. So I stand up, ran to my kitchen. There was a wife who was making breakfast, and I said, Katya, I have new story. I have a film, but the last thing I have to say, from this moment, after final release, it was spent 4.5 years of making this film, just 15 minutes. I am extremely slow thinking man. I'm stupid guy, slow thinking. 15 minutes as a rule, 4 years of making every time. Oh goodness.
it's a
Producers have to kill me. Yeah.
Your short, now looking at your other short film, which was so brilliant as well, Lavatory Love Story. I mean, it's charming. It has this very unique story that's set in a public restroom. Yeah. What was the inspiration for that? Was it another dream? What did you have? What was
No, different ways. Every time different ways. Nothing to predict from where it will come to you. It was a special scene. It was inside of studio. We discussed some professional problem, as I remember, with one of my colleague, one of my friend, and he tried to prove me his idea, something in discussion, and looking for a proof, he suddenly said, look, as example, just as example, look, for example, there is a situation, toilet Yeah, and there is a woman, and she finds suddenly in her box where people put money, flowers. She doesn't understand from where there, who put it there, and she started disturbing about it. After that, he was continuing his speech about something. I was immediately struck. I was struck with this idea, with this situation. I felt in it potential balance between something tragic and something funny. It's close. And detective also, because she tries to find the reason, the somebody. And again, this we can tell it. We can, how to say, we can tell. Sorry, we can say this idea, the first idea of the film. It's nothing, just idea. It's not the scripts yet. I spent 1 year to develop this idea to the full finished script. I told you I'm slow thinking man. What I mean, I start thinking about this ideas. It growing up inside of me, catched me, but I couldn't invent anything. No story. What's going on every second in the film? What is beginning? What next? I didn't realize. 1 year I spent of 1 year I spent of thinking about it, and suddenly one day I developed all story. I've seen it suddenly, step by step. In 10 minutes, I realized what it will be every second in the film. I ran to my home and just started immediately making storyboard, not to forget everything. In a couple of hours, I had finished storyboard. It's absolutely like film. No changes, almost no changes.
Amazing.
Валя, как сказать? Один из моих учителей сказал на эту тему: осеняет тех, кто думает. Я долго думал, но меня осенило. Осеняет тех, кто думает.
Like one of my teachers said once, great ideas come to people who think. So I think a lot, and then the idea just strikes me.
Yeah. And you obviously are a deep thinker. You take your time on it, and then it reveals itself in time. And as like you said, it was complete. You had the complete film at the end.
Yeah. But then I spent 2 years of production. Yeah, it's also difficult. Yes, but yeah, that's way.
What I like with your films is they strike this great balance of humor and emotion. When you are working on your films, how do you work that? How do you find that right balance between these elements in creating your films?
You think there is a balance? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes, that's I'm trying to do. Yeah. If it is, it's good. Yeah. You know, one of my first teacher in my profession is Charlie Chaplin. This genius, yeah. And that's what I like in his films from my childhood. I know films from Chaplin, how to say, by heart. Наизусть, да, by heart, yeah? Yeah. Step by step. Как сказать, я их изучал. Yeah. Because I am absolutely fan of Chaplin. And that's what I like in this art, exactly what you say. Balance between funny and tragedy. Every step, every second, this balance. Here we are joking, here we are crying. That's interesting. I didn't choose especially this way like mine. I didn't say one day to myself, oh, I will do it like this because I like it, because I like Chaplin. No, just intuitively I came to the same way of filmmaking. That's all. Just intuitively. I like this.
And Chaplin, the master, like you say. And I'm with you. I mean, as you can see from my film collection, I have many Chaplin film.
You understand me, then? Yeah.
And I'm the host of a silent movie screening at our local theater. So I screen much Chaplin and Keaton and Harold Lloyd and all those. So yeah, I agree with you completely. The balance of humor and emotion that Chaplin brings and that you bring in intuitively. Maybe let's talk about, you mentioned that in making your film, We Can't Live Without Cosmos, it took you 4 years. Maybe you could talk us, what was it that took so long with that? It's not just that you're a slow learner or slow, but what was it that from concept, from that dream to the final product? Maybe you can walk us through that creative process in getting it made.
I will try. I will try to do my best. Why it's so long? Because first, I have developed synopsis. It's not script. I don't write scripts. No, it's too boring. Everything in my head. Yeah, especially in short story, we don't need scripts as a rule. Even I don't. By the way, I don't make storyboards for my shorts. No, only with love story. Yeah, lavatory love story. It was storyboard. Not to forget what I invented suddenly. Yes, but then as a rule, I immediately make animatic. It's more quick, it's more a live process, which moving you ahead more quickly. But in that time, with astronauts, I just developed synopsis, yeah, two pages. And I came to my teacher, which I mentioned, not Chaplin, later. And and I showed him this synopsis. He read and said, interesting thing, Konstantin, I recommend you to make story in construction easier than it is now. I didn't understand then what he means, because everything is clear. This is story. Why it's difficult construction? Why I have to make it simpler? I don't understand. But when I start making animatic, I realized what he meant. The construction of story, it was so difficult. What I mean construction? Episode, this scene, yeah, it's about this episode about dinner, about jumping on the beds, etc. I couldn't find long time. I couldn't find the right place for every episode in my story. I changes a lot of different combinations. Here, no, doesn't work. I've made several episodes very detailed in animatic, which were cut away lately because they were in vain, no need. But I spent time, energy to make them, yeah, and again trying to edit the story. From these 4.5 years, I spent 3 years making animatic, and only 1.5 years for all production. That's proportion. 3 years of making animatic. It was very, very difficult for me. There was a moment, I understand now, there was when I see the first variation of animatic, yeah, first editing, I understand how it was dangerous for me to make bad film, awful film, yes, with the same story. Но, как сказать, но я вырулил, я справился.
But I steered myself away out of the situation, and I managed not to make a terrible film, regardless.
Yes, not to make a terrible film. Yes.
No, it's an excellent. The other thing is with your films, you have a very distinct visual style. So, I mean, we can say, well, how did you come up with that? But was there an inspiration, or how do you approach your design and your aesthetics of your films for your anime?
How did you decide that I have
No, it's like saying,
style.
how does
Ah,
Rembrandt decide to be Rembrandt?
as I say, really, that's what I think. My style, visual style, is absolutely stupid, archaic, yeah,
Archaic.
archaic. It's stupid. It's not modern, not at all. Nobody do it like me today. It's old-fashioned. By the way, that's one of my problem when I'm making films, because it's the art design of my film. It's not my how to say, not my strong, not my strong field, yeah, not my strong point, yeah, not strongest point. That's why I spent a lot of energy, not everything I satisfied. By the way, you are right in sense that in astronaut, when we can't live without cosmos, я пригласил, как сказать, да? I asked of my friend, one of my colleague, another director, very good artist, Roma Sokolov, to be art designer of this film, to be artist of this film. It's not me who draws this design. Maybe it looks like it's me, but it's okay. That's what I wanted. I didn't want from this good artist from Roma that it would be his special drawing. No, I needed something that would remind me as if I would myself as if I would do it myself. Yeah, strong balance. But I first, of course, I tried. I make attempts to make art design myself. No, it was impossible. I understand. I realized very quickly that I will fail. It's impossible. It's difficult to explain because it looks very simple. Yeah. What was problem? Yeah, if to see film, what was problem to make this design? For me, it was problem this time, and I asked my friend, and I was happy as he agreed to help me. By the way, with second film, it was the same. I asked him to make design. I mean, he can't live without cosmos. Both films were made by him, design. Yes, before these films, I managed to do it myself always.
It's amazing because, like I say, we know animation is very a collaborative effort. You're not just by yourself, and as you mentioned with your friend Roma, helping do the design and such, and it looks like it really enriches the creative process. It looks to us. It's not just on your hand. It's all those members. Who else was working on that film with you besides Roma?
Not only animation, cinema, art, all cinema, yeah, and fiction also. It's collective art, a lot of people. Yeah, it's not composers or writers or painters. Yeah, it's not the same. It's collective art. Yeah, and of course, main figures. It's if you have good animators who makes animation for you. Yeah, it's good. You are lucky. But anyway, a lot of stuff, even in radio animation, I remade myself with my personal hands, because not everything every time I am satisfied. Not everything. Here, not this way, not right. I accept. I say to animator the rule. Okay, good. But then I sit. Oh, not. It's not really good. It's not really. And started remaking it. And especially one of the important process of filmmaking, it's final study. It's what is it? Composing. When you combine backgrounds, animation in program, yeah. When you compose, making effects, moving camera, everything. It's very important moment of making film, because a lot of stuff, making composing, a lot of stuff I can repair, I can save Я могу спасти, я все еще могу спасти что-то, когда делаю композинг.
Yeah, at the final stage, basically, I can rescue everything that didn't happen
Yes,
to get to that level I wanted.
Да. Когда, Валя, да, когда я делаю композ, иногда проблема не как это вот сделать и идти дальше сцену, а как это спасти. Боже мой, как это спасти теперь? Да.
So the question at this final stage is sometimes not about how to finish it, but how to actually save it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What's going to really make this final film? Yeah. Well, your films, what I like about them as well is they're great examples of visual storytelling. And this is why they appeal to a worldwide audience. And, you know, they're your story, but it's personal, but it's also universal. And it's that visuals, and as you mentioned, the music that you use to convey that story. So what are the challenges and the advantages of that approach without dialogue, without using any dialogue?
About dialogue. It's a very, very interesting question. You see, Kit, every year there are more and more films with dialogues and especially with words behind the screen. Yeah, more and more. That's problem, it seems to me. Maybe it's my problem. I mean, director's profession of director is no longer needed. Как сказать, да, Валя, как сказать, профессия режиссера нивелируется.
Yeah, looks like the very profession of an animation director is fading away. It's not as necessary these days.
Because my point is because with words, you can tell everything. If you have words, literature, you don't need to be director. You don't need to be director. It's easy to make films with words. You know, one day I asked very famous film director, you know him, of course, Barry Purves. Yeah, I asked him, what is direction? He said, he gave me absolutely genius answer. He said, direction is revealing the thought processes of the character. Just imagine, revealing the thought processes. That means that director has to make efforts, have to spend energy to invent something, to invent action for characters, to reveal, to discover what characters feels, what characters wants, what's inside of him. With words, we can do it in moment, immediately, very quickly and very easy. That's what I mean.
Yeah, we can. Well, you reminded me of something that Walt Disney talked about, and Barry Purves, he drew on the same thing, because you have a cartoon character like Mickey Mouse, but you have to show that he has a cartoon brain, that he's thinking, that these actions aren't just a slapstick physical action or reaction, but there's a motivation. Why am I doing this? What am I doing? And that comes even from studying Chaplin as well.
Exactly. It's old school, so to say. That's what I mean. I am old-fashioned director. Yeah.
Old is new again. It doesn't change. It doesn't get any better. That's the thing. It doesn't get any better. Now, your work, you've gotten so much critical acclaim and awards. How has this recognition, how has it affected your career and as well the direction of your projects of where you're going?
Как он сейчас сказал, известный в мире, да?
Да, по сути, вопрос, как международное признание сказалось на ваших сказалось на вашей повседневной работе и на ваших творческих планах?
I don't see any special international recognition. You know, by the way, it's interesting. I have a proof, really. Maybe did you see in Facebook maybe 1 year ago in Facebook there was published the list of names with how it was called the list of very most это был список аниматоров, режиссеров, Валя, которые как бы наиболее талантливые и многообещающие. Вот такой был список.
Okay.
И он был явно сформулирован по опросу нашего вот анимационного сообщества. Вот был такой лист из 20 фамилий, из 20 имен. Вот скажи это, да.
Apparently, somewhere on Facebook last year, there was a list of 20 names of most promising, most prominent animation directors selected by the industry.
Some names I remember. The first place was Theo Ushev. The second place was Regina Pissot, as I remember. I don't remember who was first. Third, the fourth was Igor Kovalov. Yeah, in the list was also Paul Driessen. Blah blah blah, and it's somewhere in the end there was a very young, talented guy, really, Vadim Dikur, yeah, it seems to me. So there was no my name in the list. What do you mean recognition?
Lots of great people get forgotten. And you know, a name on a list means nothing, but you have gotten lots of recognition at the festivals. People recognize your film, and they've given you great acclaim. Do you find that? Well, let's talk about who, for example, who has influenced you? What animators or directors have had the most significant influence on your work and your artistic vision?
You know, I can be influenced with every perfect genius film. Yeah, I can be taught with something from it. Yeah, it's normal. But of course, there are some names, of course, that really impressed me with their works. Chaplin, of course, yeah, first. Then, by the way, Buster Keaton, yeah. But in animation, it's Michael Dudek-DeWitt, nothing new, you see, nothing new. Barry Purves, Paul Driessen, Yuri Norstein, Jan Schwankmeyer, Mark Baker. To continue?
Yeah, the list grows and grows.
A lot.
Yeah. Everybody, all of them.
Everybody.
You can find something from somebody. Everybody. Yeah. Next week we have Bill Plimpton joining us.
Oh, give him my regard, please. Yes.
I love Bill too. Yeah. And Marv Newland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Marv Newland. He's old guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in his 70s. He's about 75. I teach with him. He teaches with me. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So now, what's in the future for Konstantin?
Future. It's not time. It's not time to think about future. It's time to think about what's going on now. Really, I'm busy now. A lot of stuff to do. I'm making feature film. It's in eternal, как сказать, на внутренний рынок. Это коммерческий фильм на внутренний рынок.
This film is meant for the Russian market. It doesn't, they don't plan to sell it internationally.
Yeah, it's a commercial film. It's for children, but I like story. It's a very good story. We wrote it with my friends. Now I am almost I am almost finishing my new short. It will be one day, I hope, but I prefer not to tell something about it. Never. It's secret. We'll see what it will be. We'll see.
In 4 years, we'll see what it is.
No. No. 4 years already spent. No. Almost finished. Yeah, I hope in half of year. It's study of composing. It's study of saving film.
There we go. Now, I think I understand that you teach as well. You also are a professor of animation. You teach at some schools.
Really, I have my little personal private courses where I took a very little team from 5 to 7 students, and I teach. It's professional as a rule, from field, yeah, not from street. And the animators and young directors, and I teach them in direction.
What do you tell students? I mean, they're coming in, all these young, fresh eyes, full of enthusiasm. They haven't been jaded yet. They haven't learned the industry. What do you tell them about animation? What do hopes and dreams and goals and aspirations do you give them about animation?
Валя, я в общих чертах понял, но можешь уточнить? В общем, как бы...
Когда к вам приходят юные, с горящими глазами люди, которые еще не постигли всех ужасов и нюансов этого мира, что вы говорите им, как вы их вдохновляете?
No, I don't inspire them. No. On the contrary, I frighten them. I scare them. You should understand what waits for you in this field. It's most difficult field, artistic field. Think twice before starting. Otherwise, you will regret all your life. Really, that's true. If they will survive through this frightening from me, it's okay. They will be directors.
I always say to my students, fear is a powerful motivator. They will keep you alive. So better to be afraid.
Exactly.
Yeah, better to be a live dog than a dead lion. Konstantin, this has been a pleasure meeting with you and talking with you. It's
thank you, kids. Thank you.
I'm sure we could talk some more, but this has been...
You are first person who interviewed me from abroad.
Really? No.
Yes, really.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure.
It's about recognition.
Well, one thing we both love, Chaplin and animation.
Yes, thank you, kid. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your assistance as well.
Thank you, Valia. Thank you, Valia.
Thank you.
Yeah.